What's going on? It's JK Philly. I'm on my way to work 6:50 in the morning. Just want to start this morning out with going over a little bit of controversy or, drama that's been going on again in the Sixers locker room with Tyrese Maxey coming out with a claim to Joel Embiid that, he just needs to do more. He needs to show up on time. He needs to be a leader, basically. Tyrese Maxey, of course, and understandably getting frustrated with Joel Embiid's play, getting understandably and frustrated with Joel Embiid's passion for the team, his leadership abilities and qualities. He really wants Joel Embiid to stand up and understands that when he was the rook and when he was coming in, that's who he looked at as like, you're my leader. I'm listening to you. Let's go get it done together. Now that he's more vetted in the scene, uh, he's trying to build up his players, but other guys new to the team, just trying to build some type of culture here. And just from what it seems like is that Joel Embiid's not enforcing that. He's not, if he's not showing up for practices, or if he's at practices for a little bit but not involved because of his knee stuff, like, he's not really being a leader, I guess, from what it sounds like from the frustration that's coming from Tyrese Maxey. So it's understandable. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think if you're a man and you work with other men as a team, uh, there's obviously going to be some friction when things like that happen. And I think Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey have a good enough respect between each other. It's just evident by the amount of times that they talk well about each other, and they're in their post game interviews talking about each other, or on the court post game, talking about each other, hyping themselves up, having all these videos leading up to the season about Tyrese getting his extension and getting all those like the Sixers jerseys and all his memorabilia and stuff like that, and Joel showing up. Like, I feel like Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey have a good enough relationship where Tyrese Maxey should feel that comfortable to be saying stuff to Joel Embiid like that, and Joel Embiid being man enough to not take it as disrespect, but as like a wake up call. Like, oh yeah, I probably should be doing that regardless if we're 2-11. It's not just like, oh, it's whatever. When I'm healthy, I'll be a leader again. Like, it just has to be all the time. You always got to be there to support. We're talking about it on the show of like, I think Kev was the one that said it. He's just like, I really hope these new guys that are coming onto the team, and even the rooks that are coming onto the team, us being 2-11, aren't getting discouraged because we keep losing all these games, and our star player isn't here because he's hurt, and then our other two star players are off and on with injuries as of right now. But you know, making sure Tyrese Maxey doesn't want them to get to that point. And just from that report, I can, maybe it's a stretch, but it seems that Joel Embiid doesn't really care, in the sense of trying to keep the morale up on his team, while they're still 2-11. But just wanted to give a quick point about that, just because I know that's been buzzing in the news recently, and just giving my thoughts on it. I don't think it's a big deal. I think they're both man enough to understand where they're coming from to make this team great. Because realistically, even with Paul George's performance, uh, this team is supposed to be going to get a chip, and it's not like, oh, we're gonna wait till next year. We don't have time to wait till next year. It's got to be now. If we can't do it now, if it just doesn't happen, then we're hopeful for next year. But we're not giving up on this year just because it started off bad. That doesn't make any sense. So we really got to lock in with stuff like that. Just wanted to give a quick video about the Sixers. During my time being sick, really nothing has changed. Other than Jared McCain starting to develop into what type of role he's going to be in, really demonstrating that he can be, even now while Tyrese is out and Kyle Lowry, I think, has a hip injury. So Jared McCain should definitely be now inserting himself, if not by his 30-point performance the other day, that he should be starting as the point guard for the time being. Um, and even when Tyrese Maxey comes back, maybe putting Jared McCain in as a point guard for them, or shooting guard, or however the Sixers want to work that out. But you obviously have Paul George, who's been kind of inconsistent through these couple of games that have been going on over the week. Uh, I don't have the statistics in front of my head. I haven't been diligently watching them start to finish because I've been sick, but I just know we've been losing, and I just know he hasn't been performing as Philly fans think he should be performing. So it's we're what, we're 2-11 now, so we're almost about 15 games into the season out of the 82. We're starting to get to that 15, 20, 25 games into the season where it's kind of just like, yeah, we're hurt, but you should like start getting into what you're known for regardless of your age. Of like, you can't keep, and it's my apologies if I'm saying the wrong numbers because I'm just guessing off of this point, but it sounds like he's scoring under 20 for most of these games, and shooting bad percentages basically. I know he's been shooting bad percentages, at least if it was the last game, but the other games I can't speak to wholeheartedly because I don't know his exact statistics. But Paul George, definitely needs you to start standing up a little bit while Tyrese is still out with this. I don't even know what it is, thigh or hamstring or whatever it is, but uh, Paul George, please step it up. You got a rookie outperforming you right now. That's more of a reason for you to like come out and help. And even going into the Joel Embiid point, so mad that I've been sick and haven't been able to really talk about his return. But my God, does he look out of shape and just not locked in at all? Sure, you give him the same type of grace period that you gave Paul George, if not a little bit more. But still, Joel, like, your first game back, you score in the teens, and it's all free throws basically. Like, I went to that game. Uh, the next game, you're scoring in the teens. You're not playing your back to back against the Cavs, obviously, but yeah, Joel, we're gonna give you your grace. I'm not gonna speak so much about Joel yet. Get get your buckets, get back into the swing of things, get back in shape. You look so gassed by the first quarter that it looks kind of embarrassing. How are you going to say you've been practicing this whole time, but then when it comes game time, you look like you've never practiced in your life? That's all I really have to say. I watched the game against, I think they played the Magic the other night. Uh, I think Joel had like 13 points. It's just unexcusable at a point. Like, yes, you're getting back into the swing of things, and I just said I'm not going to be as mean about it, but you're still Joel Embiid, right? Like, you shouldn't be scoring 13 points in any game that you play. Your bare minimum should at least be 20, and that's being generous. And I just wanted to go back to that Cavs game because I went to that game and was just watching everything unfold. Basically, like I said, if you were watching it, it was a competitive game, first through the third quarter. Uh, really, because Jared McCain was hooping. Also because the Cavs weren't really hitting a lot of their open shots in the beginning of the quarter. It would kind of look like when I went with my friend, we basically both came to the conclusion of like, okay, Cavs at this point in time are 11-0, 12-0, uh, or 10-0. I don't remember what they were, but they're going to just weigh down the 76ers. They're just going to make really good defensive plays. They're going to get their shots up when they can on the offensive end, all in the first to third quarter. Then when the fourth quarter hits, okay, let's turn it on. Let's go win this game real quick. And that's kind of just what it looked like. Obviously, you can't plan for Donovan Mitchell to get 3, 4 3 pointers every single time he comes down, but that's what happens. So it's not. Uh, you could attest to that being the theory, or Donovan Mitchell just hit some really good shots and we could have won that game. Could look at it whichever way you want. Being a basketball fan, I could just assume that it went the way of the Cavs just started to heat up. Donovan Mitchell hit those 3 pointers and the game was over. Really couldn't do anything else. But 2-11. Uh, hey, we're still in it. we're still trying to be hopeful. Probably I don't know if we're officially the worst yet or still the second worst behind the or in front of, I don't know even how you want to classify that, but the Utah Jazz. Don't know who's worse. I don't care about the Utah Jazz. Uh, just trying to figure out what we can do. I see a lot of points talking about Nick Nurse. I think everybody really has a fault in the way that the Sixers have been playing. I wouldn't directly blame it all on Nick Nurse. I wouldn't directly blame it all on, like Kyle Lowry or Eric Gordon or just the players in general. I wouldn't blame it on Joel Embiid being out for this amount of time. Like, I'm not going to blame it on one specific person or thing for the Sixers' downfall, because it's a collection of everybody, of Joel not being able to play, and, even if it is purposely taking time off to not play, if it's Nick Nurse being so hell strong on playing those old guys when he feels like we're about to win a game. You see in the fourth quarter, he puts in Eric Gordon, he puts in Kyle Lowry, he puts in Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin, and I don't think Drummond played that game either, so he might have had Yabusele out there or somebody. But it's just the fact of, like, he's still, even though this is a couple days ago when we played the Cavs, he's still trying to force of, like, our old guys, our vets are going to get it done for us, and they've just showed that they're not going to get it done for us. Like, they're not bad players per se, but they just can't get it together right now. And if we're losing the games with them and keeping our rookies on the bench while we're 2-11, like, what are you trying to prove? Are you trying to get that third win so we're 3-10? Like, does that really matter for your sanity at this point? You might as well get your young guys involved, because those are the guys realistically that you're going to play more, that are less injury prone, that when playoffs come around, Eric Gordon's probably going to be more susceptible to getting hurt, and Kyle Lowry, having a hip injury now, is more susceptible to getting hurt. So why not play a Jared McCain? Why not play a Dembona? Why not play, KJ Martin, Ricky Council? Why not play him at this point? Trying to work some things anyway. Let's just see what we can figure out. So that's the real difficult part about it. But play tonight, play the Memphis Grizzlies. I think Joel Embiid is playing, but we just played. No, I think we just played the other night. So Joel Embiid should be playing. I'm assuming Paul George should be playing. Tyrese Maxey is still out. I think his status is soon to come. I'm recording this on my way to work. It's 6:50 in the morning, so I don't know what's going to happen with who's going to be playing and who's not going to be playing. But the Memphis Grizzlies are pretty banged up right now, so this could be, like another hopeful night like it was against the Charlotte Hornets, and maybe we squeeze out a win. At this point, any win is a good win for us, so we'll take what we can get and see what happens. Obviously, this has been, inching its way more towards like a YouTube basketball channel. Um, I'm okay with that, obviously, but I also want to try to keep involved of the Eagles and not disrespect what they've been doing on their win streak. So I want to give it up for them and talk about them with Kev a little bit more about that. But we'll talk about it soon. Um, if you haven't already and you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, tell your friends about us. We're trying to build JK Philly. Talk to you.